Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for varsity wrestling. Please welcome our guests. From Jones High School, they are the Tigers. From Lake Howell High School, they are the Silver Hawks. From West Orange High School, please welcome the Warriors. And your host school, the Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our match this evening, we ask that you please stand as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. For those of you in the arena, we want to let you know that tonight's event is being live streamed on both YouTube and the NFHS network. For the first time ever, we are live streaming two mats at once on split screen on the same live stream. We're going to see how that goes. Again, the channel name is Wekiva Sports, so if you have friends and family back home or anywhere else in the world and they would like to tune in and watch tonight, just search for Wekiva Sports on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. If you're a member of the NFHS network, you can also search for any of the participating schools on that service, and it should come right up for you as well. We will have, tonight's format is not going to be a duel, as everyone knows. We have a very unique season this year, and so because we do not have the personnel necessary to have team scores, it is going to be a round-robin format. No team score kept, only the match scores will be kept, and we will be rotating in 3 rounds. We're going to try to get each competitor as many rounds as we can. So we will have the lower weight classes on the south mat, that is the green one. We will have the higher weight classes on the maroon and gold mat, that's the north mat. And we will have, again, 3 rounds of that competition. Jones will always be green whenever they compete. Wekiva will always be red whenever they compete. And then Lake Howell and West Orange will be the other color. So Mustang fans in particular who are in the arena, keep that in mind, that Wekiva is going to show up as guests on the scoreboard even though they are the host school. Just want to make sure you can keep everything straight. The horns on the scoreboards have been disabled so that they do not confuse our wrestlers since they echo throughout the arena. Instead, we'll be using tappers who will be monitoring the clocks and letting our officials know when time has expired on each period. We'll be using standard varsity timing rules to start things off here in round 1. That means 3 periods of 2 minutes each. And to open things up on the heavier weight mat, we will have Danny Ha from Wekiva and Brandon Neal from Lake Howell. On the lighter mats, we will start in the 113-120 class, and we'll have DJ Perez from West Orange and Trevon Johnson of Jones. And a special welcome to those of you joining us online. Red and green. Yep. We are going to do the best we can here. This is the first time we have ever tried something like this. That's not what I wanted. That's better. All right, we are underway here. Yes, that's normal. All right. 2-0 lead for Lake Howell on the heavyweight mat. That score is backwards. I'm seeing if I can figure out what's going on with that. Ah, I see what I did wrong. That's better. Now if I can just keep up with the clock, we'll be in good shape. Left scoreboard is synchronized with the gym. The right scoreboard, we're having some technical difficulties with the scoreboard connection, and so we're having to sync it manually, so thanks for your patience with that. Rest assured, correct time is being kept in the gymnasium. We're just trying to keep the graphic at the bottom of your screen as close as we can. And we have a victory by pin on the north mat. Hobb with the victory by pin in the third period. Next up on the heavyweight mat, Of course, we're not actually to heavyweight yet. We are still in the 160 class. We have Dalton Varney for Wekiva will be guest on the scoreboard. Christopher Campbell for Lake Howell will be home. Meanwhile, over on the map that's on your right, and I'm realizing now that the mats are on the opposite side of the screens from their corresponding scoreboard. We'll get that fixed too. First time jitters, folks. We've never tried to keep up with two independent events on the same live stream, so we appreciate your patience. We'll get those videos flipped around in a second here. And a major decision victory on our lightweight mat on the south side. We'll move on to our next weight class. Up next we have Darius Freeman for Jones, taking on Matt Walker for West Orange. There we go. That's better. All right, so 4-1 at the end of the first. Takedown for the Mustangs. Victory by pin on the south mat for Johnson. Excuse me, that was for Freeman. Next up, we'll have Ahmad Collier for Jones and Joshua Raphael for Wekiva. 6-2 at the end of the second period on the north mat. That's your right. Varney starts down. End of the first with a 4-1 lead for Collier. Excuse me, for Raphael. Decision victory for Varney on the north mat. Coming up next on the north mat, we'll move into the 170 and 182 weight classes. First up, Simeon McKell for Wekiva versus Maximus McMichael for Lake Howell. That'll take us to the end of the first period on the north mat. McMichael leading 5-2. Meanwhile, that takes us to the end of the match on the south side. Raphael with a major decision victory over Collier, 15-7, the final score. Next up on the south mat, we have for West Orange, Connor Smith, and for Jones, Alan Hidalgo. Blake Howell with the victory by pin about 3.5 minutes into the match. Victory for McMichael there. Coming up next, we'll continue in the 182 class with Jovan Stalsema for the Mustangs taking on Tenaje Johnson for Jones. Tenaje Johnson for Jones. Reached the end of the first period. Over on the south mat. Dalsima by pin. Next up on the north mat, we continue in the 182 class. Next pairing will be Christopher Thurman of Lake Howell versus Kyron Ely of Wekiva. Again, folks, welcome to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, as we attempt something we've never done before, which is to run two events simultaneously on the live stream. Time expires on the north mat. And we've got some new wrestlers coming up on the south mat here. Up next in the 152 class, Carlos Portano for the Mustangs, Marcus Smith for Jones. Decision victory on the north mat for Thurman. Up next on the north mat, we have Izquierdo for Lake Howell. That's Danny Izquierdo. And for Wekiva, Kennard Ramator. And now on the south mat coming up, we have Tyler Bruce for Lake Howell, taking on Logan Turner from West Orange. And that will be in the 145 weight class. We'll have Bruce as green and Turner as red.
Lake Howell green, West Orange red. That's what I got on the live stream, so that's phenomenal.
2 red. Red.
What's next?
We're coming up right. West Orange, Lake Howell, the bottom one. Mikey, Nephew, Water.
Got it. Okay, so this should be Adams, Nicolota?
Yes, sir.
Got it.
Up next on the South mat in the 152 and 145 class, we have Jonathan Adams for Lake Howell and Mikey Nipiwota for West Orange. West Orange will be red, that'll be Nipiwota, and Lake Howell Adams will be green.
Straight down the list, or? Yes. So this match right here is the last. This is Adams Nicolota. So that's everything for round one will be accomplished on this match. Okay. So are we going to immediately flip around for the top, or are we going to wait for them to finish over here? I might run the girls matches over here and see what I've got.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mustang Arena. For those who are just joining us, my name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School. And apologies, we're having some clock sync issues over on the right side. Doing our best to keep that as close as we can. Some technical difficulties. It's challenging to connect two different scoreboard controllers to the computer at once.
We have one more match on this side, so I say let's let it finish. It's the girls' match, and then we'll start everyone together. You want an intermission, or are we going straight in? That went pretty fast. I mean, I say let's do like a 2-minute restroom break or something. You have to play like a half song or a song.
And apologies, we had the wrong names at the bottom there. We'll get that corrected for you on the north mat. We now are on our final boys match, and that is going to be Jayden Velasquez for Lake Howell against Courtney Richardson for Wekiva. About halfway through the second period. End of the second. Still no score. Richardson picks up the decision victory at full time of 6 minutes. And we've got one more match coming up for you.
You got the girls match over here, right? That's it? Is that the girls match coming up? This is the girls, Michelle Wang and Maya Steele, is that right? Okay. Coming up next.
On the north mat, we have one more to wrap up the first round, and it'll be a girls match. Michelle Wang for West Orange, Ramaya Steele for Wekiva.
kids facing the best kids, and then the worst kids facing, the newbies
Yeah,
facing
yeah.
each other.
Trying to make it where they're enjoying it, and yeah, it's important. Especially
Are you in the rep in the area? I haven't seen you before.
I only moved here from Missouri in May.
Okay.
So
Welcome,
this,
man.
so yeah, so this,
COVID came right when COVID hit, huh?
well, yeah, I was actually looking around the area in March during spring break. My son and I were looking at houses in Orlando. During that time, we actually were doing a scouting, and then yeah, then that happened.
Right.
Look at the scoreboard.
I have data. I finally have data coming in from both scorebots at once. Perfect. Okay. Now I just got to program it.
Mark, let us know when you're ready to start on this side.
Okay, give me just a second. Finally. Try again. That's it. Now give me the clock. Hey!
All right, good news, folks. We finally got the scoreboard sync working on the other side. This took a little bit of extra elbow grease, and now we are ready to get going with round two. Wait a minute. And that takes us to the end of round number 1. So we're going to rotate back around. We had made it up to the 152 class on the south mat. We had made it all the way up to the heavyweight class on the north mat. We're going to rotate around and we're going to switch up the pairings. So coming up for round 2, we're going to begin on the south mat, going back to the 113-120 class. We'll have Trevon Johnson from Jones and Amelia Nago from Lake Howell. On the north mat, our first matchup will be in the 160-170 weight class. We'll have Danny Ha from Wekiva against Christopher Campbell of Lake Howell. All right, we've adjusted those graphics at the bottom to make them a little clearer now. I think that pops off the screen a little better so you can read them. And a victory by pin for Johnson will take us to our next match. Coming up next, we go to the 126. No, we have a bye in that round. No, excuse me, we'll have Matt Walker for West Orange against Xavier McMichael from Lake Howell in the 126-132 class. And Lake Howell will be green, West Orange will be red. So McMichael green and Walker red. Yeah, Freeman, you'll be in round 3. That's, yeah, we're not there yet. We're still up here. Yeah, looking for Matt Walker and Xavier McMichael. Yeah, you'll be next. Yeah, McMichael Walker is next.
Matt Walker? Yeah, you're up here. Put your stuff over here. Over there.
Just looking for Walker from West Orange, and then we'll be good to go on the south mat. Meanwhile, on the north mat, we've moved on while we were sorting that out. So this should be Dalton Varney for Wekiva and Christopher Campbell for Lake Howell. No, I lied. This will be Varney for Wekiva and Brandon Neal for Lake Howell. Next up, on the 126-132 weight class, we have Ahmad Collier for Jones and Lorenzo Perez for West Orange.
Is that still Bernie and Neil? Yeah. Masks on at the score table, please.
Next up on the north mat, we'll move into the 170-182 weight class. Tanaje Johnson for Jones, Simeon Mikkel for Wekiva. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you in the arena, we want to remind you that we are live streaming on YouTube as well as the NFHS network. The channel name on YouTube is Wekiva Sports. Just search for Wekiva Sports on YouTube on your favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device. Make sure your friends and family know they can join us. We've got both mats live streaming right now. And for those of you who are already watching us on YouTube and the NFHS network, thanks for tuning in online. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. We had some technical glitches at first with the scoreboard integrations. We've got those squared away now. We appreciate your patience with that. This is the first time we've tried to integrate this much information into a single live stream, so thanks for your patience with that. This will go smoother next Wednesday when the Mustangs host a tri-meet. Going to get a pin by Mikkel here on the north mat. We also hope you'll subscribe while you're here. If you're watching on YouTube, click the little red subscribe button. You can click the notification bell if you want to know anytime we go live. You can also, if you're on the NFHS network, follow Wekiva High School so you'll be notified through them as well. Mikkel wins by pin on the north mat. Coming up next on the north mat, we'll move on to Jovan Stalsema for Wekiva and Maximus McMichael for Lake Howell in the 182 class. Let's give those names a second and I'll update there at the bottom of your screen. Blood time green. Start blood time. There you go. Up next on the south mat, we have Alan Hidalgo for Jones and Logan Turner for West Orange. So, stop blood time, start injury time, which is, there you go. No, that was stop. There you go. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mustang Arena. We've got injury time for Turner here. And that's been resolved, so now we'll be getting back with 1:45 left in the first period. Meanwhile, on the north mat, we've got Dalsima and McMichael wrestling in the 182 class. So you got 182 on your right. And on your left, Hidalgo and Turner are wrestling in 145. McMichael with the victory in the 182 class. Next up, for Lake Howell, we have Christopher Thurman, and for West Orange, Aiden Rick. They'll be wrestling also in the 182 class.
Pretty slick though. I got that scoreboard coming in through that. I got this scoreboard coming in through this. I'm not controlling anything from the computer.
How is it connected from this thing?
Yeah, so this one uses the traditional USB connection. So this is plugged directly into the computer. I can't plug
So this has a computer in it that sends the
right.
score
So
to this?
this one goes straight into the computer with a cable. I can't plug two cables into the computer at the same time. It'll confuse it. So that one is using the Wi-Fi to beam the score into the computer. And so I've got one set of data coming in over here and one set of data coming in over here. I've never tried that before, but it works.
It's a lot of wires.
It took me most of the first round to get it working right.
Yeah, I mean, that's so many wires. I would rip them all out and say, all right, we're just going paper pencil, no scoreboards.
Well, and then I've got, so here's all the matchups that I've got. So I just have it where I put an L next to the one I want on the left side and an R next to the one I want on the right side. And that automatically changes the logos, colors, and names from what you put on here.
So it takes it from the spreadsheet.
Right, so I made my own little spreadsheet.
Yeah, but it takes it from the spreadsheet.
Yeah, it pulls this through Google Sheets API into the broadcasting site.
Cool, man. It's awesome. It's pretty high level. I'm gonna have the kids watch the video. They come to practice and then go watch the video.
An 11-3 victory on the south mat for Hidalgo. Coming up next, after Hidalgo takes the win on the south mat, we'll move on to our next match, which remains in the 138-145 weight class, as we have Connor Smith from from West Orange. And we'll also have Tyler Bruce from Lake Howell. West Orange will be red, and Lake Howell will be green. So once again, welcome to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, and we have done live streaming of wrestling before, but never like this. We've never been able in the past to do two mats at once, live streaming both with the scores connected on both sides, so we're excited about that. We learned a few things tonight in the first round. We've gotten it squared away, so we're confident we'll be able to replicate this next Wednesday when Wekiva hosts a tri-meet. That's coming up on January 27th. We hope you'll join us for that as well, as Wekiva hosts Edgewater and Olympia. Again, that's next Wednesday at 6 p.m. For those of you who are new to the sport of wrestling and may not be familiar with the rules, in this event, we are doing round-robin matches only, so no team score is being kept. There is no final score at the end of everything between the teams. Each individual match is an isolated event, and so the points are awarded 2 points for a takedown, 2 points for a reversal, which is someone who has not been in when one player is in control and the other wrestler reverses such that they are now in control. That would be a reversal for 2 points. An escape from control is worth 1 point. And then we have near falls. So if you have a shoulder blade on the floor, depending on how much time you are able to hold the wrestler there, it is worth either 2, which you saw right there. That's a 2-point near fall for West Orange. For Smith, if you hold for long enough, you can get a 3-point near fall. And then, of course, a pin immediately ends the match, and it doesn't matter what the score is. Even if you're behind, if you get a pin, that immediately assures you a victory. If we were playing duels, then each match would be worth either 3, 4, 5, or 6 points toward a team score, which we are not doing tonight. Thurman picks up the victory on the north mat. Coming up next on the north mat, we'll have another Lake Howell West Orange contest. Up next in round 2. We'll have Dominic Madrid for West Orange, Danny Izquierdo for Lake Howell. Two points on the takedown for Madrid. On the south mat, we get a stoppage. Unnecessary roughness is called on Bruce. That awards a point to Smith, making it an 8-2 lead with 1:25 remaining in the third period. We have a locking hands warning coming up here on the north mat. Illegal hold will award 1 point to Izquierdo. That ties the game at 2-2. Minute 18 remaining in the first. Coming up next on the south mat, we have Marcus Smith for Jones and Mikey Napuata for West Orange in the 145-152 weight class. And we'll pause on the north mat to reset some equipment. Meanwhile, a 2-0 lead for Nepoata. Time ticking away on the first period. We're about 2/3 of the way through our event. We have maybe even 3/4 of the way. We've got 2 more matches scheduled on our lower weight classes, 113 to 152. Those are the ones you're seeing on the green mat. We have 5 more matches scheduled on the right mat. That would be the 160 through heavyweight. So if the lower weight classes finish first, then we will simply bump some of the higher weight classes over so that we can move through this as efficiently as possible. Again, this is a round-robin style format, so we've taken each of the wrestlers from their respective weight classes, and we've paired them in different ways. We'll do West Orange versus Lake Howell, then we'll do West Orange versus Jones, then we'll do Jones versus Lake Howell, or Wekiva substitute in there depending on who has wrestlers in each weight class. Again, don't look to see a lot of dual action coming up this season because in order to have a meaningful dual match, you need to actually have wrestlers entered by both schools in most of the weight classes. Now, there are such things as forfeits, but if each school is missing half of their weight classes or 1/3 of their weight classes, then having a dual match is just not particularly beneficial to anybody. And the teams are better served by getting more experience and more matches for their individual wrestlers to prepare them for the individually bracketed tournaments in the postseason. So that's where you're going to see most of the action happening this year.
Next should be Williams Velasquez, right? Who you got next? Is it Williams Velasquez? Yeah.
Coming up next on the north mat, Nigel Williams for Jones and Jaden Velasquez for Lake Howell in the 220 class. Williams will be green and therefore home. Velasquez will be red, even though he's wearing blue, and therefore away. We'll fix that logo under Velasquez. He is, of course, representing Lake Howell, not West Orange. Williams with the victory on the north mat. Next up, we move on to our girls' match in round 2, and that will be Ramaya Steele for the Mustangs and Kanaya Chestnut for West Orange. Victory for West Orange Nepawoda on the south mat. Coming up next on the south mat, that actually takes us to the end of round 2 competition. We have 2 more matchups coming up in the lower weight classes as we move into round 3. Strike that. There is just one more, and that is going to be Marcus Smith for Jones. Excuse me, Carlos Portano for Wekiva against Jonathan Adams from Lake Howell. And that will be in the 152 weight class. I see what happened. They switched the order on me. It was supposed to be Portano Adams first and then Smith Nepawoda, but they flipped him around. Doesn't really matter. And so this will be the final match of round 2 in the lower weight classes. Then we have 2 more to clean up the different ways of combining different wrestlers together. Still scoreless for the girls' match that's happening on the north mat. Going into the second period, and Chestnut will start down. Portano escapes, earning a point, trailing 2-1 with a minute left in the first. Chestnut earns a takedown on the north side. And gets the pin. It's Chestnut by pin on the north mat. And that takes us to the end of round 2 on the north side. We have 3 more combos in round 3, where again we're trying to mix up as many different matches as we can to get some good experience for these varsity wrestlers. Coming up next on the north mat to start round 3, we're going to go back to the 182 weight class, and it will be Aiden Rake for West Orange against Kyron Ailey for Wekiva. Portano chooses top to start the second period. Since that's currently the only active mat, we'll make that one bigger for you. Portano escapes again, gets back to neutral. Adams makes his move, gets the takedown, but we're going to get a call on a whistle. Unnecessary roughness is called on Adams. That'll be a penalty point for Portano. And we've got Reek and Ely ready to go on the north mat, so we'll switch back to the split screen view here. At the end of the second period, Adams leading 10-3. Reek is awarded the takedown. Adams picks up a reverse to lead 12-3. Trying to drag Portano back into the boundaries. Not able to do so, though, as Portano drags him out and will reset to center. Reek still riding Ely on the north side. And we go to the end of the first period on the Reek-Ely match. Mustangs defer, and Reek will start down. I'm going to pause for injury time, meanwhile, for Portano. Whenever you see on your scoreboard indicator a score and the period flashing, that means that either blood or injury time is in effect. And the clock that you see is accordingly the blood or injury time, and then as soon as that's over and the score stops flashing, then the clock reverts to the regular period time. Takedown for Reek on the other side. And that takes us to the end of the match between Adams and Portano. It'll be a major decision victory for Adams. Adams takes the major decision. And that takes us to the end of round 2 among the lower weight classes. We now have 2 more combinations that will make up round 3 on the south mat. First up, we'll have Darius Freeman for Jones against Xavier McMichael of Lake Howell. And then coming up next after that will be Joshua Raphael for Wekiva against Lorenzo Perez of West Orange.
What kind? Which, well, I have, wait a minute. I have a lightning cable around here somewhere. It's the older kind. Somebody took off with it. I had it plugged in here last night.
I'll just leave it up here.
Let's see, on the south mat, we are looking for Darius Freeman of Jones and Xavier McMichael of Lake Howell. That's your next match. And while we wait for them, we'll put up the north mat bigger.
Is that still Reek and Ely? That's still Reek and Ely? Yeah.
All right, we're ready to go now with Freeman and McMichael. It's our second to last match on the south mat. We are actually in just about the same place on the north mat. We've got 2 more to go over there. An 11-4 victory for Reek on the north mat. Coming up next, we'll move on to Dominic Madrid for West Orange. Will be green and home on the scoreboard. Kennard Ramator for Wekiva will be red and away on the scoreboard. So we are now in our second to last match of the night on both mats. Technical violation for locking hands by McMichael will award 1 point on the penalty to Freeman, who now leads 3-2 with 1:07 remaining in the first. On the north sides, we're still scoreless, just getting underway between Madrid and Ramator. Freeman a little winded after the first round, chooses neutral to start the second. And Freeman will take his 90 seconds of injury time available to him. So we'll have a brief delay before we start our second round. Meanwhile, we've reached the end of the first period on the north mat, with Ramator leading 4-2. We'll put that one up a little bigger for you until we get back to action on the south mat. All right, we're ready to roll between Freeman and McMichael, getting into the second period. McMichael leading 5-3. Michael elects neutral, which will award a free escape point to Freeman. Meanwhile, we're halfway through the second on the north mat. Ramator leading Madrid 6-4. No change in the score recently there. Again, welcome to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, bringing you the first wrestling event of the season. Wrestling getting a little of a late start for Wekiva. Wrestling is, of course, significantly complicated this year by the pandemic in terms of participation and safety measures. So this season is going to be a little unusual. That takes us to the end of the second period. Ramator picking up one more point, making it 7-4. We're going to go into the third period. Meanwhile, McMichael trying to force a pin here with 30 seconds to go in the second, and he gets it. McMichael on the pin after leading 10-5, and that takes us to the end of that match. And we now move to our final match of the night among the lower weight classes on the south mat. And it's going to be Lorenzo Perez for West Orange will be home on the scoreboard in green. Joshua Raphael for Wekiva will be guest on the scoreboard in red in the 132 weight class. Amateur takes the victory on the north mat. And that leaves us with just one more matchup to go on the north side. It's going to be in the 220-pound weight class. For Jones, home on the scoreboard and green, we have Nigel Williams. And for Wekiva, will be designated red and guest on the scoreboard, Courtney Richardson. So again, these are the final two matches of the night that you're watching on your screen right here. You've got Williams versus Richardson in the 220 class on your right, and Perez versus Raphael in the 132 class on your left. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight on behalf of all of us at Wekiva Wrestling. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube or the NFHS network. We hope you will subscribe before you go. Again, click the red subscribe button on YouTube, and if you want to be notified every time we're live, then all you have to do is click that bell icon as well. And that way you never miss any of our live action. If you're watching us on the NFHS network, you can follow any of these schools that are participating, so you'll get email alerts when they have events scheduled for that day. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We are at Wekiva Sports on both of those services. Takes us to the end of the second period on the south mat with a 7-4 lead for Raphael. Near fall on the north mat will make it 5-0 for Williams as we get to the end of their first period as well. Raphael gets a takedown. Now leading 9-4 with 90 seconds left in the third. Williams gets two more on the takedown, leading 8-0. 75 seconds to go in the second. And it won't take that long. That takes us to the end of the match with a pin victory for Williams in the 220 class. And that takes us to the end of the match on the south side with a 9-6 decision victory for Raphael. And I've just been told that we're adding one more unscheduled match.
We're all done on that side. So who is this over here? Okay.
Thanks, guys. We're done on this one.
Apparently they added one last match.
All right, let's do one more. We've got the Silverhawks and the Warriors.
That's it's off the books. They didn't send me the kids. Thank you, sir. Mark, do you have
Oh, yeah. I guess I can just count them this way. So that would be
minutes you were out there too?
Just let it count, will be good.
30. Well, wait, you want just this side or both sides?
Both sides, all together.
Both sides are 36.
36 matches total. Okay. Thank you.
It's all me. All me. I've tried to hit on the horn. I hit manual horn each day.
That's 100% my fault. Touch the wrong button. Silverhawks lead 5-3 at the end of one. Warriors start the second on top. And a reverse, keeping things interesting. Now West Orange with the advantage in spite of trailing 5-9. Half the second period gone.
Hey, hold on. Let's see how
And the action finally gets too far out of bounds. We'll come back to center circle. Warriors on top. A lot of reversals resulting in a lot of points. So far, neither wrestler able to get the other on their back, though. 6 seconds to go here in the second period, and it looks like we're going to take the third to wrap this one up. Lake Howell had West Orange on the ropes for a moment. Can't get the pin, but they will get 2 more for the takedown. And stalling is called on the Silverhawks. Silverhawks again have the Warriors on the ropes. Looking at a near fall, and there it is. Silverhawks by pin after leading 15-9, and that will officially take us to the end of the match. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight to support your Warriors, Silverhawks, Tigers, and Mustangs athletes. Thanks also to those of you who tuned in on YouTube or the NFHS network. Tonight's matches will remain available on those services for on-demand replay. Your next chance to catch Wekiva in action is coming up a week from tonight. They'll be hosting a tri-meet against the Edgewater Eagles and the Olympia Titans. We hope you'll join us for that. That starts at 6 o'clock 1 week from today, Wednesday, January 27th. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Wekiva Sports, and bookmark WekivaMustangs.com for all of your scores, schedules, and more. For those of you in the arena, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you watching online, thanks for tuning in tonight. Good night from Mustang Arena.